I've always believed in God and loved God, but when I was in my addiction, I did nothing about it. I didn't talk to him, and I have to be honest, the first 3 or 4 months that I was locked up, I wouldn't reach out to him for help because I felt hypocritical, because I had loved him as I was growing up and in my married life, but I didn't have anything to do with him while I was in my addiction. And I would sit there and say to myself, why am I going to reach out to God now while I'm in trouble? I didn't want to reach out to him when I wasn't in trouble, and I just thought that was hypocritical. I finally went to church, and a lady saying that he doesn't care when you reach out to him, he just wants you to come to him. And once I got over that, then my relationship became so strong, and I just had so much peace, and I just saw God's love everywhere. I mean, I had some struggles coming out, I did, but I also had such peace, and I acquired that peace while I was locked up, and I didn't want to lose that peace because, you know, when I first got locked up, I didn't think I could breathe or make it through another day because I was locked up. But by the grace of God, he came in and gave me peace, and he gave me all of these loving people in my pathway. And I was able to endure that because of all that love, and I didn't want that feeling to ever go away. So I've made a big point to make sure that I keep my relationship.
I was raised in church, and the church that I was going to, well, I was kind of on the fence. You know, sometimes I would go when things were bad or I needed to pick me up. But whenever I was incarcerated, I mean, that was such a huge part. I mean, I was just so desperate and hungry to have that, presence just to be surrounding me, especially there. And so I figured if I could be in that situation and go and never miss, then what's stopping me from being, if anything, it's more of a challenge to have life happening around you and to still honor that commitment to serve God above all else, no matter what's happening. And he blesses that, you know. So the first Sunday I was there and I got involved. I joined the church, which before I never was a member. The following June 1st, so exactly almost a year later, just a few days shy, I got baptized. And it was like, I don't know, I think that's what sealed the deal. And from that point on, not only has God just blessed me so much more than I could even imagine, but I've gained his strength and his power, and he's given me the ability to stay clean and stay on the right track and just make the next right choice. That's a huge part of my recovery and my sobriety, is just having that family and that support and just knowing that they're there. And it's also accountability. As long as you put yourself in the right environment, then he'll do the rest, you know.
Before prison, I did go to church and I thought that I knew God, but I didn't have a personal relationship with God. I didn't know that you had to or you were supposed to. But I learned that in prison by going to church and being involved with the church ministries that would teach us that. I gave my life to the Lord, and it changed everything. It changed my perspective. It changed my way of thinking. It changed my way of living. Even though I was in prison, even though I was locked up, but I started to be free in the inside.
Before prison, my relationship with God was really strained. I always knew that I needed to be in church. I knew that my children need to be there, but I let other things take priority over my relationship with God. I knew there was a God. To me, God was the God of my grandmother and my mom, and I grew up Assembly of God in a Pentecostal church, and God to me was like a punishing, condemning God, and so I was very ashamed and very withdrawn from God for many, many years. But prior to entering into prison, I'd had a spiritual experience in county jail. I was very broken, very destitute, and as most of us do, we reach out to God. We call those 911 prayers, and that's what I did. I could not stop crying and weeping before the Lord. And I gave my heart to God then, and I remember getting out of jail again on another bond, and this time it was different for me. This time I walked out of jail and into treatment.
My mom never told me she loved me. So it was really hard for me. Anybody would say, well, Jesus loves you. How could that be? Nobody loves me. My life before God, it was chaos. I felt like I was always tormented with my thoughts, my mind, things that I did. I was ashamed, I was scared. I was always hiding. But then when I went to prison, I was able to meet God, and I was able to move forward. I wasn't stuck anymore. Today I could move forward because of that. Today I don't have to stay stuck. I don't have to think about I think about my past, but I see the future, what God has done in my life.
But you gotta keep focused. You gotta keep doing the same thing that you was doing in that prison. If you was reading in that word and staying in that word, if you were fellowshipping with other people that are serving God, you gotta keep doing that when you get out there, because that's how you're gonna make it. That's how you're gonna make it. And when someone tell you you ain't gonna be able to make it, you gotta say, yes, it is, because through Christ, all things are possible.
God has given us a tool, though. The Bible is a tool. It feels like some things are outdated, but even the Old Testament has things that apply right now. Or ask people, advisors, trusted friends who know the Word. They can help you too. That's where you're gonna find the tools to help you, right in your Word. So use it. He's given it to us for that reason. It's God-breathed, He did that for us. It's His gift. Every time I do what He's asked and get in the Word, it feeds me. It clothes me. It gives me what I need. It protects me. Why I don't get in it more, I think it's the enemy trying to stop you because he knows that's what you need. And he will, not to give him credit. But sometimes we have to be real and honest about what we're facing out there, and it's the enemy. He will try and stop you and hurt you and take you down. Fight it with the Word. That's your sword, Yeah. Block it with your shield, That's the tools He's given you, Ephesians 6, it's right there. Protect yourself every single day.
It's important to know that, the enemy has the basic things that he's going to throw at you, like keeping you too busy to spend time in the Word when you get out, so you have to make time for that. He's going to magnify your insecurities to make you feel like you're inadequate. He's going to bring up those old hurts to bring about feelings, so you'll want to use. And if you know those things, he's going to cause disunity in your family any way he can. But if you already know those things are coming, you already know the Word, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, and I can do all things through Christ that strengthen me.
I didn't realize that God is a God of love. And once I went to prison, and once I got to experience the way the women treated you, and the way the volunteers treated you, the people that cared about you, because they had God in their lives, it just changed my perspective. It changed the way, I felt, because I could feel that love. And I never knew where it was coming from. I never felt that before. So after being able to experience that, having one-on-one time, having him speak to me, it was a life-changing experience. Now I know that I'm not alone. I feel his presence, and it's a good presence. It's not an angry presence. It's not a wrathful presence. It's not like you have to do this or you're not going to do this. And it's not that. It's that I love you and I want you and I need you. And I love that. I need to be needed by God. So, and that's where I'm at today. I can't do any of this without him. I can't. If I didn't have him, I would be right back where I started, in a gutter somewhere. I try as much as I would like to be in my Bible every day. It doesn't happen that way. I spend a lot of prayer time. I have to have quiet time with him. So that's an everyday thing, especially at nighttime right before bed. I have to have that grounding time with him. I'm in my word at least 2 to 3 times a week, and I know it's probably not enough, but it's something, and I know that's what matters. You know, I have church on Sundays. I started doing a Bible study on Thursdays, and I think that's really important too, to have that fellowship, because if I don't have fellowship with other believers, then I feel like I'm doing this all on my own, and I don't want to do that.
Being left to see what I can do in the life, it landed me in prison. I had life into my hands for 29 years. And that's when I came to the reality that I needed God. So no matter what, we need God. We have to eventually surrender to the power of his care so that he can come in and transform our lives with his amazing grace and his amazing love. So for me, the only thing that caused me to survive was my relationship with God. We hear that, but the thing is that is the reality. You need God, and you need his wisdom, you need his thoughts, and you need his ideas implanted into you so that you can be transformed.